Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. Let me make sure I got the right mic on because I always forget. No, I do. Amazing. We love that. Okay. Today's going to be different. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. So as you guys know, there is the Pixels Community Cup happening right now. It is a massive soccer, football tournament, whatever word you like to use. And there's a custom field. And so I know we said we were going to do this AMA on Shoreline Beach, which there will be popcorn there. But we're actually going to live stream the game because there's a game happening in the tournament right now. And on top of that, we might start like a creator game halfway through. So we're just gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun together. I actually kind of need to hop back to the game because I am the referee, i.e. the person running around after the ball, bringing it back to the center because it likes to go out of bounds a lot. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring up Luke. He's going to live stream the game, and I'm going to probably be paying a lot of attention to making sure this ball stays within bounds. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. I'm going to set up popcorn there too. So make your way over to Shoreline Beach if you just want to chill at the beach, or if you want to come and hang out with us and watch the games. Head to the soccer pitch, soccer field, football, whatever you want to call this thing. There you go. And here's Luke. Come hang out. You walk. If you guys know where the mill is in Terravilla, you walk like it's like left up. It's next to, I almost called it the hotel. Oh my gosh, that is very old Pixels. It's kind of next to the sauna in Terravilla. So that's where the entrance is. And there's some fun stuff going on. So yeah, you can see they're running around trying to find the ball. I will go and collect it for them in 2 seconds here. And oh, I just made us bigger. Okay, make yourself a little smaller.
Make myself smaller?
Make your browser a little smaller, and then it'll be like snug. Yeah, sure, that works. No, bigger. Bigger, a little bigger.
I might need to refresh. I messed with the Zoom.
Oh, that looks good. Oh yeah, but yeah, you can do that. But yeah. Other fun things happening with this, there are country t-shirts. So I've mentioned this a billion times everywhere because I want to make sure people feel included, even though people don't read or listen. It's fine. But what we've done is there's a little store. If you see on the far side of the football field, there is a purple hut, and that is your soccer gear, your football merch tent. And basically what we've done is we've created t-shirts for all of the countries playing in the IRL event, which is, I think, 48 different countries, and then any requests. So we've gotten a whole bunch of requests. If the country that you want or are from or whatever is not in there, please reach out to us on Discord, and we will get it made, and we'll put it in there. We just couldn't do 180 or however many countries are in the world shirts. So this is the better path to that. But we will absolutely make any country that isn't currently available. Just let us know. I think today we pushed like Vietnam, the Ukraine. There was one other. I know Peru is in the works. We also made a giant soccer head. So if you see me standing in the middle of the field there, I've got a giant soccer head. So that's also available in the store. I kind of think we should just keep the store around forever though. So we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna hop in here and make sure that this game is running smoothly. Hold on. All right, let's go. I also halfway after this, I think I already said this. I was gonna say if this game should run like 25 minutes ish, and then we will have like a creator head-to-head game just for funsies. This game here is a part of the tournament, but the creator one will just be for fun. I should call it community, not creator, because I'm not actually sure who is participating. I literally pinged people like 10 minutes ago. So okay. Oh yes, we need energy at the soccer field. I did say we were going to do that. Okay, let me just replace the football soccer ball. It's very hard for me because I want to call it soccer, but I also acknowledge that 99% of the world calls it football. Luke is standing in the middle of the field in the way. That's fine.
I'm in the way.
Yeah. What did you say?
No, I actually think this is so controversial. I think I saw a fun fact that actually more of the world calls it soccer than football. Europe obviously doesn't.
No way.
Yeah.
Well,
Fact check me on that.
I won't, but I was working with Brits to build this. And so everything, you know what is actually a term? We were trying to figure out if we could add some physics and it just didn't work out. I know I like tweeted maybe we would have physics because I really thought it was going to work and then it didn't, which is too bad. But one of them was like a kick function, and to use it, you needed to have like an item in your hand. And so we were like, okay, cool. I was like, let's call it the kicker cleat. Right? Like, that's cute. Kicker cleat. It's almost alliteration. I know it's like K and C, but we can forget about that. And the British people that I'm working with were like, what the hell is cleat? They had never heard the word cleat before. Like, we're not calling it that. And I was like, what the heck do you call it? Like a football boot? I'm like, a boot goes in like water and snow. Why are we calling it a boot? Anyways, it's always fun to have a multicultural team. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to
popcorn or energy to say in there.
Oh yes, I just said I was going to do that and then I got distracted. Yes. Let's go. I'm going to put 2 on this map just to make sure that we cover the whole map. Okay, how far south does that go? Okay, that should work. Hopefully. Might be very chaotic for our soccer players, but that's too bad. That's part of the game. Oh my gosh, hold on, I almost deleted it. Okay, let's get this ball back in play.
All right, sweet. This AMA also, we still can answer some questions. So if you guys have any questions, we'll also go through some of the stuff in these comments. We'll also give you like a small update on stuff that we're working on still, because there is some fun stuff that we're up to. We're still updating the game. We're still working through more events. We are still moving towards like that higher level goal of open source as well. So yeah, we'll go through all these questions today too.
Okay, I don't know if I can look at questions as much today, so
I got it. Yeah, you're
okay. I've got like 4 different like things that I need to pay attention to. It's kind of hectic. It's fun though.
So I mean, yeah, I can start with like the high level. Like, what are we up to? What are we still working on? What's the progress? What's the progress in all the updates? So high level, we're still moving towards open sourcing Pixels. So there's a bit of work that's going into that. This like next week or 2 is still some of the more boring backend work. A lot of what we're doing right now is we are making it so that you get all the tooling that our team has that we use to put on events like this inside of the game, also available. So, I saw some comment on X the other day being like, oh, there's already open source game engines, right? Like there's Phaser, there's this thing that we contributed to a lot called Calicius. What Pixels built was we built basically an MMO engine also, right? And that actually is a lot of work to do it properly, to do it like with server side truth, to do like real-time entity updating, state management, like a lot of the boring stuff. Also, all the tools to actually develop out an MMO real time, it's very hard to build and like takes a long time to do it. So for example, our team is able to build out live ops events in real time. Like we can change and update maps, right? Like if I want to add, a new decoration into this map, for example.
No touchy.
No, we can add.
But yes, I built this map and I edited some of it in production. The map was just closed to the public. Like there was no connecting feature at the time. But Okay, I think we're at halftime. Are we at halftime? Why is everyone stopping? I'm just gonna remove the ball here. Okay. Halftime.
I'm just trying to figure out what I can put down without breaking something.
A bush. Just put a bush down. But if you put it in the middle of the turf, I'm gonna kick you out of the game. Actually, no, I can't. You need to live stream it.
Yeah, we're gonna add another flag somewhere. No, I'll just add a flower.
Okay, cute.
Cute.
Where did you put it?
Just right there. But yeah, basically, there's a ton of tools that Pixels has built that will help you create maps, add in new objects, even be able to program objects. Like this is just a map editor that we have, but this is only like a small subset of the tools. Like it's barely any of it. But there's also these concepts called entities, right? So if you can see, there's stuff that you understand here, like apiaries, the tractors, all of this. These are like basically programmable items. Pixels actually made a new programming language called PixScript that allows you to basically program like behavior inside of the game. So this is all the stuff that we're working on open sourcing too. So basically, when we open source Pixels, the community will get access to develop Pixels in the same capacity the team has, and also the ability to extend the engine as well. So a lot of the work on the team right now has been to get these things ready, and also to make sure that it's easy enough to actually, test out a version of open source Pixel yourself too. So that means making things like deployment very easy. Like we're getting stuff ready in Docker containers, so you can have a single instance deployment. All of these things, right? It's pretty cool, the tech stack that we're going to open source. I think it'll be really, really powerful to the community. Now, again, as we're open sourcing it, one thing that we want to do is you still want to make sure that value accrues back to the Pixel ecosystem when we do it, right?
We're so close. We're so close. Oh, I really thought that was going to go in. This is so chaotic with the popcorn. I like can't see anything. Like, where did the ball go? I have no idea. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these players in particular have a harder game to play. This is so crazy. Okay, cool. I think we have a decent number of. We've got 8 players to play in our game halfway through, which is exciting.
But yeah, again, the reason why we're moving towards the open source direction is, one, I think I made a statement on the AMA not too long ago being like, oh, Pixel's exhausted a lot of what we can do out of the current engine. Well, we started looking a little bit more. That's actually not true. There's a lot of there's more depth there, basically, on what we're able to achieve with the current engine. One thing that we've always been constrained by, though, is it's funny to say this, but one thing when you have one centralized team working on something is you, again, have like only a certain amount of bandwidth that you can do at once. You also kind of lack the creativity that you might get when it's crowdsourced also. Like, again, one of the things that, a lot of people criticize about Pixels, which I don't think it's true, but it is something that people say a lot, is that we don't listen to the players because the players had so many different ideas that we should have done over the last couple of years, right? And the reality is, like, we do take all of your feedback into consideration. We're just one team. Like, we can't implement 1,000 ideas at once, right? But in an open source model, that actually becomes more possible. One of the other things that people are saying when we're talking about open source is people are like, oh, there's already, a farm game that's open source. That's actually not true. The game that people are talking about, just the front end, is open sourced. Open sourcing backend and tools is very, very different of a task. It actually unlocks a ton more for the community. And there's a lot of interesting things there, right? So that's kind of the direction that we're going in. The other thing that we're working on too is, I'm actually personally working on this. We're working on task board tweaks, task board and stack tweaks. So this is going to take a little bit more time to get done. We're probably going to start it's in code review right now. But we're working on the system that will allow us to like more easily update stack tasks, and do it like a bit more autonomously as well. One of the things we never got quite across the finish line was some of the agentic side of things. Now we're basically wrapping that up, so the team can go in and be like, hey, agent, make it so that these tasks are given more to these players. Make sure that these tasks are balanced this way. The previous way that we had to do it before was we had to like dig into data science. We had to like tweak each task by hand, think about how they all interact with each other. Now that's going to be a little bit more automated, like basically almost completely automated. Just basically saying, hey, we want this thing to happen, make it happen. And it's working pretty well, which is great. It's working better with Fable, but these new models are good enough to make those things happen. Other thing that we're working on here at Pixels is we still have a new game coming out. Chubkins, we finally released the second to last update. So if you are testing out the early access of Chubkins, then you actually might even be able to see it now. I think it's gone out to basically 90% of users now, and it's a pretty big update. This is an update that we've been internally calling R8. And basically it's added all of the features that we want inside of the game, which is amazing. Now the last thing to add is essentially that last layer.
Sorry, go on.
The last thing to add is that last layer of polish, basically. So some of these, okay, well, I'll talk about the Shoreline event. You don't have to talk about it, Heidi, in a second. There's one user, I think I already saw
talk about it.
I already saw a post by them on X that is not happy with the rewards, but we'll address some of that really quickly. But yeah, just to like hone in on the Chubkin stuff. So
I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, again, one of the things we've been working on at Pixels for a long time is we never want to be a single game token, right? Like there is always going to be risk with a single game token. And this is the same thing with a single game company. If you are building a studio inside of Web 2, if your game plan is just we're going to build one game, it's like building a movie studio that just makes one movie, right? If you build Avatar and you make $1 billion in Hollywood, that's great, but you got to keep making $1 billion, right? And same thing with games. Like most game studios make many games because it's actually a very normal thing. I literally put this back in my deck in 2022. If you want to look at, maybe I can find that. That'd be a throwback. Wow, October 4th, 2022. I kind of want to share this really quickly because it's just kind of fun.
Go ahead. Yeah,
this is a deck that we were pitching before Pixels was ever really a thing. We were pitching Web3 Zynga. We were talking about the original version of the game. And this is it. This is always the original vision. We basically always want to build back multiple blockchain games because of this specific problem, right? The normal problem with games is that they'll peak in popularity and then start to dwindle a lot. There actually isn't a single game in history that you will find me that doesn't follow this kind of pattern. Basically, every single game looks like just one of these lines. Sometimes, they'll have like a second bump, but like every game peaks in popularity. They start to like slowly find a stable point, right? Sometimes games peak in popularity and then they peak again for a little bit and then go back down. But this is like the way the world works, right? So this is why we always want to make multiple games, because you can stack up, multiple games with their user base, spend, behavior, then you have a better chance in the long run, right? But yeah, it's kind of funny. I haven't looked at this deck in ages. This is literally from...
Yeah, the graphic design is impeccable.
This is literally from 2022, which is kind of crazy. Look, there's even Barry here. That's funny. I think we were even talking about other tokens at that time. That's funny. This kind of is actually a throwback to like the original strategy. This is before we even like really really hit like our stride back in like 2023. Went out to raise a round, was unable to do it back in 2022. We were able to raise a round at like end of 2023 before 2024 when the token started, seeing like it was more positive. But yeah, Chupkins is always like some of the direction we want to go in for that reason, right? Because you want multiple shots on goal when you're building out an ecosystem. And
that's a plan. Sorry, go on.
Because you want multiple shots on goal when you're building out an ecosystem. And yeah, luckily we've set ourselves up for that. So here's the positive about Chupkins. We're almost out of early access now. We almost have like basically the last update out before we start to open up to more users. So when we're out of early access, it'll still kind of be like a beta game, because essentially what we're going to be figuring out next is like all the monetization loops. And we have to do that at scale with like real ad spend. Now, I started digging into numbers a little bit more because we're getting ready to, send out like updates to people. And the numbers with Chupkins when it comes to user acquisition are actually looking really, really positive. I wonder if I had it available, but I literally closed everything when I was like doing this AMA, because it's not it's not good to have a lot of tabs open when you're potentially screen sharing. Let me see if I can open this. Oh, come on.
30 seconds left. Let's go, teams. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh my gosh. Oh, where did the ball go? That one went far. Oh, they scored. Oh my goodness. That means it's a tie, I think, right? Or is it 2? Okay, wait. Is it, what's the score? Is it 2-0 or is it a tie now? I can't keep track. It's 1-1. Oh my gosh. What happens when it's 1-1? What do we do? The game is like basically over now. Like shootout. But what does a shootout look like with these mechanics? Oh gosh, and the ball is here.
Maybe more hockey style.
Hockey, yeah. I feel like if anyone just gets it in the net, though, it's impressive. So, is that a wrap then? Are we done? I'll put it down again. Let's see if we keep going, I guess. And just wait for Nina or like straight to decide. Where did it go? Why is there feedback? You guys hear that feedback? I hear myself. Okay, here we go. I guess it's like sudden death, like next to score, but then it also can take 20 minutes for people to score. So, I mean, I just picked up the popcorn instead of the, oh no. Okay, hold on. The ball is in the exact same place that the popcorn is placed. I need to move it. Okay, we're good. Let's keep going. What's the plan here? Organizer, moderators, referees.
All right. I can't find that. I have to dig into the data again really quickly. But what I'll say with the Chupkin stuff is over the last 6 weeks, for every like 2-week period, I think the average CPI that we've gotten for Chupkins, which basically means the cost for an install, is about like $1.60, which I know that you guys, that's a meaningless number to everybody inside of this crowd, most likely unless you're like in industry, but that's actually an extremely bullish number. If we have $1.60 CAC, and this is after like pretty significant ad spend, what that actually means is Chupkins has a potential paid funnel that's profitable. Like normally a customer acquisition cost in our category is like 2 or 3 times the amount. Like you would normally expect like $3 to $5 CPI, right? And then normally you would expect like $10 LTV if you like really, really nail the monetization. But $1.60 CPI at the amount of spend that we've been doing for our ads we've done enough spend where it's statistically significant and is like it's a pretty sure thing that they'll keep up with that for the first like, orders of magnitude of customer acquisition. If we can basically just get the game to have like a level of polish, I would say right now, if you're playing Chubkins, the polish level, I would put it at like C plus. Next update's going to get it to like B plus. If we can iron out the last kinks and get it to A level, it has legs for sure. So that's really positive. Why is this positive? Well, one, Pixels, one of the hard parts about it is, and the reason why we're moving towards open source is its current state, we weren't able to build a paid funnel for it. Like that's just kind of the reality, right? Pixels needs a lot of work in order to make it what it needs to be to actually have a paid funnel of Web2 users. What's interesting is there's a few smaller crypto games right now that are starting to get like a little bit buzzy. I follow the space closely, so I see what's going on, right? My take on those, I actually saw some people talking about them, so maybe I'll bring it up. Just because I think it's interesting, is no, I don't see the questions, but yeah, I mean, I think we've all seen them now. If you're in crypto gaming, there's like 4 or 5 games on Solana that have picked up a tiny bit of traction, right? My warning to you guys is those games probably vibe coded in like a week. And then 2, they're all using like asset packs, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like it cuts down on cost at the beginning stages, but the cost to build those and therefore the willingness to rug those is probably a lot higher, right? If you can go and make that for like, a couple $100 of credits and asset packs, and you have an anonymous dev, there's going to be a lot of risk there for a quick rug. We already saw that with 1. 2, the other thing is, when you get a really, really early game, it's easy to make a lot of promises really quickly, right? Like Pixels was pretty resourced at the peak. And I'm telling you, our team was working Heidi can confirm, like Pixels team probably worked 70-hour weeks for the first like 2 or 3 years. That's hard to ask for people to do that for 4 or 5 years. But the team still works really, really hard.
I was going to say the last 2-3 weeks have been the same. So
yeah, we're back in that mode right now, basically. Yeah, we had a lot of team. We had really good resources, really good engineers. When you start to get more players, real economy, it's going to slow down development timelines. That's just how the world works, right? AI is interesting though, because it is speeding up some of that stuff. Like even it has me thinking about future of Pixels too. Somebody asked the question saying, have you ever thought about making a Pixels classic, like RuneScape classic? Yes, I thought about that many times, to be honest. A lot of people loved Chapter 1. One of the issues with Chapter 1 was the economy was so broken. Like I'm telling you guys, I'm so sure of the fact that if we left it as it was, the game would be in a much worse spot than it is today. Chapter 1 was wildly inflationary. I think coins were inflating like 3 to 5% a day. The reason why it wasn't so apparent to people at the beginning stages was because there was a lot more people coming into Pixels, right? So the game economy had like almost a Ponzi effect with coins at that time, right? Because the increase in supply in coins, just due to how much item inflation and coin inflation there was for the short term being ate up by incoming aggregate demand of player base, right? But whenever you have that situation, it is a ticking time bomb, right? So that's why we made the Chapter 2 changes. We cut back on item inflation and we got the in-game economy pretty under control, right? We can show you all the stuff with that around coin inflation. I've shown those reports and those charts in AMAs previously. I can probably dig them up and find them again. But you'll see the coin supply was going like, boo, for Chapter 1. Chapter 2 came out and it was constant. It was like a flat line after that, which is good. That's what you want to see. The hard part about inflationary economies is you'll see this in the real world too. People love inflation at the beginning stages, right? That's when the stock market pumps. That's when That's when people like feel like they're making a lot of money really quickly in the real world, when there's times of like initial inflation. And even you'll see politicians use that to their advantage, right? But the thing is, it comes and bites people in the butt normally as well too, in like time, right? If you look at the U.S. economy, that's kind of what happened for a little bit, right? Maybe it started, in Trump won a little bit, and then next administration was dealing with some of the effects of inflation afterwards. Now, now the macro is looking a little weird too. It looks like, I don't know if we want to dig into global macro, but I don't know. I'm not very bullish on the dollar right now. It seems like there's a huge inflation of the dollar as well.
Okay, I have a few minutes that I can go through some questions. We are swapping over teams right now. It's hectic. But let me look at some questions here. Because I know you mentioned there was a Shoreline one, someone like really upset. So let me quickly address that. So Shoreline happened over the weekend. It was hectic and fun and crazy and whatever. I will address the first 1 hour. The balance was completely wrong. I genuinely don't know how that happened or how it went out like that. But it did. And so we take responsibility for that. We got it fixed within an hour. And then we reimbursed everyone that had been affected, which was actually only 20 users, which is fine. And it doesn't really make a difference if it was 2 or if it was 100, we would have reimbursed everyone. Is it the same person?
Yeah, this is the person that's like, so we're getting asked for transparency around the Shoreline event. Some people think that it was rigged.
Let me dive in. Okay, let me dive in because I have already addressed this on Discord. I'm sure this is an alt because I'm sure you're one of the people that I've already addressed, and I'm going to say the exact same thing. But here we go. So what happened was if you guys participated in the Shoreline event, the first 6 levels or 6 times you gave the Heidi NPC 21 Shoreline mates. 21st of June, summer solstice. That's the whole reason it was 21. You received a reward, which was generally speaking cosmetic, and a star. If you kept going, it was totally up to you. You did not have to keep. You could do it as many times as you wanted, as little as you wanted. Some people put in once. Some people got 1 star. Some people got 60 stars. It's just like really up to you guys. Only the first 6 levels gave rewards, which was clear in the announcements and in the NPC copy. Now, we love that you guys kept going. Obviously, I wanted a Shoreline aura and I didn't get one. If I got one, you would have screamed it was even more rigged. But anyways, I genuinely didn't get one either. I did the first 6. And so what happened was the cloud, I'm not sure why. I think it was like the restraints were a little bit too strong, but it had 10 auras to give out throughout the 24 hours and it only gave out 3, which is okay. Because we could look at the data, see who put in a key, and then randomly distribute the 7 extras. Now, this is where this user is quite irritated, and there were a couple people on Discord also that were irritated about this, and it actually made me really sad. I was genuinely like quite upset when this all happened, and I try to keep my emotions like out of things because, I know the truth and all of that. And I like, this is, work, whatever. But I was like genuinely upset that like some people were really coming at me for calling it rigged. And so I'm going to explain, and I did explain this on Discord. I'm going to explain exactly how those users were chosen. So there were 7 users that got an aura after the event. I asked the team to send me the data for every single entry, every single star entry into that cloud. Okay. It was a lot of data, a lot. But all I can see on the data is the time that it was deposited into the cloud and a unique user ID. So like, I can't see who anyone is. I don't know who anyone is. I don't know. I haven't memorized anyone's user IDs. They're like 20 numbers long or something. And so what I did was I went to like a random number generator and I put in how many lines were in the spreadsheet. This is how I've done it 1,000 times. How many lines are in the spreadsheet? And I said, what number do I get? And it would tell me a number, and I would go to that line and I would copy the user ID, and then I would like into a list of like, okay, and then these 7, those are the winners. Great. The only time that I actually translated that user ID into username was when I was writing the announcement so that I could tell who, because guys don't know user IDs either, so that we could tell. So I understand that there were a couple people on that list that have won rewards a lot in the past or are very active users in the community, but you have to also understand that because they are really active users in the community, they are very active players, and they probably submitted a lot of stars. I genuinely don't know, but the chances go up if you deposit more stars. That's just how stats work. I'm terrible at stats, but I know Luke is very good and he can attest to that too. So genuinely, that's how it is. When I first saw the list of the usernames, I had 2 thoughts. My first thought was, oh, I'm so happy that users that I know these people. I get so happy when users that I know win things. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I love it's exciting when like big community people win because they deserve it, right? And my second thought was, oh, this looks rigged and people are going to get mad. And guess what?
Okay. How does Kieran always win the raffles? Guys, Kieran plays so much.
I would love to know. I would love to know too. I actually messaged him and was like, how did this happen? Everyone is mad at me because of this. He was like, oh. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, I think that's enough of addressing it because I don't want it to take away from how fun the day was. We had a great time. It was a really fun event. We built a brand new map, which will stick around for shorelines moving forward. I think it might close soon though. Borderline bot. He's not. Let's not start that. But yeah, it was, oh God, it was so funny because if we're so honest here, okay, 2 other users that won that people were pointing at as rigged, yeah, exactly, were RGP and Kim, and they're landowners and they're active community members, and they were impacted in that first 1 hour where like the balance was off and whatever, and how do I say this? They weren't like the kindest to me when that happened. I understand. It's fine. Whatever, bridge over water, whatever that saying is, we're good. It's okay. I understand why they were upset. They were allowed to be upset. Their words were harsh and it's okay. We're moving forward. So the fact that they won and then other people are like, you rigged it. I'm like, Sophia and Chicken Pet would be getting it if I rigged it. Like, let's be honest. Anyways, that was Shoreline. I don't want to talk about any of that negative stuff more because it was so much fun. This was our 4th year in a row of Shoreline, which is so crazy. When I talk about live ops publicly, I often bring up Shoreline because it's just such a special, unique event that we have in Pixels. And it makes me like so happy and very excited. And now we have this football event, which is also going really, really well. I was worried that the mechanics would be a little rough around the edges, which they are, but with my consistent help, it's actually turning out to be really fun. So it looks like the creators are ready to go. So let me just hop in here. Okay, I want to know what like the team names are. We've got White Robes and the Pixels Robes. So who is it? We've got a drawer, Eleanor, Ben, Homeless Barney, Forever. Who else? Lale, Nina. Who's this one? Rohini, Arclight. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be good. Okay. All right. Are we ready? I think it was supposed to be 4-on-4. We've got Lale's down here. Are we waiting on anyone? Can we start? Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
Come on. Tell me yes. Oh, we're waiting on Silverwing and Lale. Okay, where's Silverwing? Lale's there. It's just Silverwing. She was the first person to say she would play. Oh, wait, there's 4 here now. Is that Silverwing there? I think probably. Okay. Let's get going, guys. You ready? Who are we rooting for? Who are you guys rooting for? Why are you saying wait? Yeah, wait, who is this in the center? Ben. Can you move, Ben? Can you get out of the way? Are they I'm just gonna make them move.
I'm gonna go through some more questions quickly.
Shoot.
All right. Somebody asked a question about stacked a few times. Question about stacked. Why level 100 milestone is random, or why is milestone random? Should be intentional, right? So players would like to level up their skills. So yeah, a lot of what we're going to be working on with stacked over the next short term is I still think Pixels is sustainable now, and it generates like slight token burn. Here is one of the things that we were trying to do. One thing we were trying to do is to see if we could get Pixels to generate a lot of token burn. That's kind of the ideal situation, right? So we've been focused on this metric for a long time called RORS, return on reward spend, right? Return on reward spend in its simplest measurement is every single day or every single month, however you want to define it, is how many tokens are we giving out inside of a game compared to how many tokens are spent inside of a game. And it's a very simple measurement. There's actually probably better measurements in the long term to like really nail down like your user acquisition strategies and all of this as well. But RORS is the first starting point, basically a measure of how sustainable a game is on the overall, right? So Pixels is now RORS positive, which does mean that every single month we're burning more tokens inside of the game than they're getting emitted, right? I think that's a good thing to keep and hold. Now, the issue is when you start to increase RORS too much, what you might find is that you might start to see the amount of spend and the amount of rewards go down. The ratio might be higher, but like for a good example is like you could have a RORS of 1,000 to 1 if you had one user. Say that we gave out one pixel and we gave out one pixel and like one user spent 1,000 pixel to get it, and we only had one user inside of the game. That would be really good RORS, right? But it's not as good as having 10,000 players spend 10 pixel and only giving out like one pixel to each user in that like scenario. Again, that's not like the ratio that we're going for, but in that scenario, if we had 10,000 players spending 10 pixel and giving all of those pixels, or giving each of those 10,000 players one pixel, that would be only a RORS of 10, right? But in the first scenario where there's only one user, that would be 999 net pixel burned. In the other scenario, that would be 9,999 pixel burned with a smaller RORS, right? So just the RORS metric is not the best metric either, right? So you don't want to just completely try to get RORS as high as possible. You also want to combine that with volume. And that's why you need to look at the net revenue as well. So the net revenue of Pixels is the like real metric that we were looking at, like how much pixel in total is actually being burned. And what you're going to see is the higher that you get it, obviously less people will play. What I'm starting to realize is there's probably like an optimal RORS that you need to keep if you want to like really scale the ecosystem. So if you get it too high, that's not necessarily good. You don't want to be negative because that's bad for the ecosystem, right? But there's a sweet spot. This is the concept in economics called elasticity, right? Trying to find where on the curve that sweet spot is. Or if you think about almost like a tax revenue, there's something called a Laffer curve, where if you, in economics, tax people too much, it will actually lead to less net revenue because it's just less productive use of capital, essentially. So with Pixels, we'll probably try to keep the RORS in more of like a rake style model. If we keep RORS to like 1.1 to 1.2, that would be like a 10 or 20% rake in that model. I feel like that will probably end up being optimal, and that means that we would need to start to scale users still in order to see that net revenue up. So that will probably be the
approach.
How is
this happening? Sorry, they just scored 3 times in a row.
Messy.
What the heck? Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry, go on.
But
Not
yeah,
good.
essentially, there's a sweet spot there too. So um, when it comes to the next steps of like open pixels and what that looks like, we will probably enforce Aurora's amount, right? Because what we want if we open up pixels more is we still want it to benefit the pixel ecosystem, right? I think that's important and that's aligned with all of our interests. So how can we do that? Well, one, we can kind of enforce roars if we make people use stacked to, you know, have people spend inside the pixels or any like fork or anything like that, and also give out rewards, right? One thing that we'll probably start to do is we'll probably hook up and like automate both of those things. Allow people to create stores inside the pixels in a fork, allow them to give out rewards in the stacked ecosystem as well. And then also like probably have some kind of like split go with the creator as well too. These details need to be ironed out still, and there's still a bit of infra for that particular piece, but it's not crazy. Then what we can do is you can hook that up with staking as well, and kind of have like a whole system benefit the ecosystem. We can enforce all this stuff by making it so you can only hook up into pixels, or like use open pixels if you use stacked, and also like have the licenses oriented in that way too. Because one thing that probably wouldn't be the best for the ecosystem is just have somebody else build Pixel and then like completely take the Pixel ecosystem out of it, right? That's not really good for the ecosystem. It's not maybe bad, but like, you know, if we're open sourcing this, this should benefit the community, right? And the people who are in the Pixel ecosystem.
It is like, I think it's 4-0 for the white robe team. I don't know if they have names. I should learn that. That's crazy. How are they scoring so? Honestly, these players are. I've been participating in a lot of games, and these ones are killing it. Okay, let's go. Oh, okay, let's go purple. No, no such luck. Okay, back to the center. Out, out, out. Oh my gosh. Where did you go? You were in the way before. You've disappeared.
Somebody asked about taxes inside the pixels. So here's the thought process here. We have withdrawal taxes inside of like core pixels, right? I think they were medium effective. Like they were semi-effective, but
Farmer
I actually,
fee.
yeah, the farmer fee, withdrawal tax, farmer fee, whatever it is. I think they're medium effective. Here's one thing that we were thinking that we are going to go down, and we tried it, right? And there's still something interesting there. But the reason why we didn't quite do this is it opened up semi amounts of legal risk with vPixel. If you allow the vPixel, oh, this is why we did this. Okay, so one thing that we were considering in Chubkins and some of the mobile versions of what we were doing was, okay, it's like if we have vPixel be the currency inside of a mobile app, we actually might be able to like have IAPs be able to purchase vPixel directly. Now, if we did that, we can't allow the conversion of vPixel into Pixel because that opens up like a whole can of worms, basically. I think we're actually going to go a different direction with this now because it was just too complicated and it didn't add the value that we wanted it to. Like we do these AMAs every single week with you guys because sometimes we try things and they don't quite work the way that we think they're going to work, right? So this is why constant communication is important. Like we're not hiding anything from you guys. If we change direction, it's not because we lied to you guys. It's because we try it and then we have to adjust the plan, right? It's actually impossible to build a roadmap 4 years back and change nothing, right? And actually, if you do that, that's a straight speed run to failure, right? Like if you set a roadmap 4 or 5 years into the past, or if you build out a roadmap 5 years into the future and you make no changes to it, it doesn't work. That's not how the world works, right? So that's why we think these AMAs are so important, so we can update you guys on the things we try, things we're going to be trying differently. And if you follow these AMAs, it's not a surprise to you when we make different decisions most of the time, right? But yeah, the vPixel one, I'm still bullish on it in the context of pixels. I'm more bullish on it now, actually. Like a very good example would be early stage earnings. Like I started diving into the earnings myself again, like a week or two ago, and it looks like the tier 1 to tier 2 earnings are getting a little bit more abused, and they're actually leading to like a lot of the pixel distribution going to those stages, which I don't think that should be the case, right? If we're giving out actual pixel earnings, it should probably be a little bit later in the funnel. And that's actually a perfect use case for vPixel, right? Where it's like, okay, if we give you vPixel early in your journey and then switch you to pixel later, that still makes it so that there's a potential way for you to get all the things you need to inside of the game just by playing, without you like dumping it, without like bots dumping it as well too, right? Like, again, a lot of our learnings over the last couple of years has been bot prevention is an important thing to do, but it's actually impossible to do it as well, unless you attack the economic systems. We built a ton of anti-bot tech. The one thing that pisses me off actually when people talk about pixels is people saying they did nothing about bots. I am actually so confident to say that we've done more about bots inside of crypto gaming than any other team ever. And yeah, we have like a huge like amount of tech that we could show. I would literally go in front of like a judge and be like,
No, I agree with you. I think
but yeah,
it was always funny back in the day to hear people talk about how many bots they banned, and we were like 100x, 100,000x. I don't even know, like, you know.
We banned millions of accounts, and yeah, we have like the data to show that. We also built out like ML models that help us identify that as well, given things. Because what's great about doing it is we had manual processes to figure this out at first. We were using data science to kind of figure out like, you know, where funds were flowing, withdrawal systems, bot networks, all of that kind of stuff. Like we did a little bit of bubble mapping and such as well too. That gave us a good data set to like actually label bot and not bot as well, which helps you train models to do that as well. The thing is, when you start to get into the practicality of that, where it's like, okay, when you actually see this stuff, what do you do about it? Well, really what we've learned is the most effective solution is killing their economics, right? It's not all this post like, you know, identifying what a bot behavior might be by the bubble maps, or like prediction is a part of it. Like you should try to use prediction when you can to like ease their earnings or like make things harder for them. There's also like rule-based stuff that you can do where it's like, okay, you know, stop these types of behaviors. But the biggest thing that you can do to stop bots in your ecosystem is never giving them earnings in the first place, right? We're making their journey harder. It's also why we tried reputation and things like that. Reputation, I'm not bullish on reputation in the long run. Like truthfully, the only way to make a transparent system with this work is if you were to do face scanning.
You just scored again. He was crazy.
Yeah, which I don't like.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. Ah, where did the ball go? Oh, okay. That's out. That's out. That's out. That's out. Shoot. There we go.
All right, somebody said kudos to Pixels team. AMA is still going on even though the market's not so good. I see. Okay, I'll be honest. These comments actually do mean a lot.
Yeah, they do.
It is not easy to show up to these sometimes, right? Like we're still building. We're trying really hard to find what works in this space, right? Like we have been so transparent with everybody inside of crypto gaming that crypto gaming is not solved. We never have planned to solve it. And you need teams iterating and trying things. You need teams that try things that don't work. You need teams that are still building and innovating, right? So yeah, if you're building in crypto transparently, you also get thrown like a lot of abuse at you. Like the team has really thick skin, but it's not easy either to have people, you know, insult you every single day, say all these bad things about you. It'd be a lot easier to build in another space sometimes. But we're here because we know so many of you care about what we're doing, who like truly love the game. Like the fact that a lot of you have made friends in this community means a lot. That's why we're still here trying to do our best and trying to figure out something that legitimately works, right? So yeah, that's why we show up and that's why we're still here. So appreciate everybody who understands that.
Oh my gosh. This is so fun. Hectic. Oh, another goal. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. How much time is left? That's a good question. I don't know.
Crypto is dying at the moment. I mean, yeah, crypto is tough right now. Here's my take on crypto. I wrote a really long article on this back in January, and I still think a lot of those points are true. I think the reality with crypto and crypto gaming is like, even for me, a lot of the things that I was like most excited about with the future of crypto and like what crypto could unlock in the real world, it's just a lot harder to pull off than a lot of us thought. But there's still a lot of things about crypto that I'm very, very excited and bullish on in the long run, right? Figuring out which pieces are actually possible now in practice are important. One of the hardest parts about startups and new things in general is being too early sometimes, right? A good example is like food delivery apps, right? In the early 2000s, there were so many people, or even like, early 2010, before DoorDash or Uber Eats were a thing, there were so many people doing food delivery. The issue is like, it wasn't ready yet, right? Same thing with social media, like all these things. There were a lot of ideas that were just a little too early, and being right but too early is also wrong. It sucks, but that's the truth, right? So there's a lot of primitives in crypto that I think are right and, also better than the real world. But when you're building in the real world, you have to also kind of account for the things that are ready now as well. So here are some things that I think are actually potentially ready. DAOs, honestly, I love the concept of them, but what I saw with DAOs in 2020 to 2024, none of them worked. One of the things that I was always really critical of was the Ape DAO, which they dissolved it eventually. But Ape DAO, the concept behind it was interesting, where it's like, okay, community treasury, governance, people get to say the future of like the Bored Ape ecosystem. The issue with Ape DAO was there were so many dumb things getting voted on that were actually not in good service to the community at all. It was honestly like a bit of greed sometimes, like Maki voting for basically just him to get a ton of airdrop so that he could dump it and realize more profit. There was one person in Ape DAO that was like, I'm going to buy a car and wrap it in Bored Ape, and it's advertising for the Ape community. And he kind of like pushed it through, right? Did that do any good for Ape? No, that didn't do any good for Ape.
Probably opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So what's interesting though is I actually think DAO's not suited for that yet. But for a game community, it actually gets a lot more interesting. RuneScape kind of has DAO like mechanics, right? RuneScape, what they do is they let you vote on new features added to the game. I actually think that's great. RuneScape politics are funny if you dig into it, because there's a lot of critiques of it. A lot of like OG players downvote anything new in RuneScape. Even things that probably would be better for it. But with open pixels, I think it makes sense, where the general gist and plan that I am thinking for open pixels is if we open source the game, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to have people build out new features for pixels. And I think the community can basically vote on which ones make it into main pixels, right? That is interesting governance. It's not like there could be self-serving things in there, right? Like maybe somebody says, okay, we're going to vote for this new feature in pixels that airdrops everybody 1 million pixels. And maybe somebody would vote for that. And that wouldn't actually be possible, but like, you know, you got to think about the adversarial attacks on a decentralized ecosystem. I think it still works with game mechanics getting added into there. So this is probably the experiment that DAO is too early for certain use cases. Like I don't think DAO should completely manage entire really early stage ecosystems. When you actually have something that can be managed and something that is genuinely valuable to people, it gets a little bit more interesting with the right rules and guidelines. This might be a case where it actually could work and actually build something better than what exists out there. So that's basically one of the experiments that we're going to run. So 2 big experiments inside the Pixel ecosystem is, you know, new game that has a mobile UA strategy. That's Chubkins. And figuring out a way to make sure that still benefits the Pixel ecosystem. And then 2, experimenting with governance and community-oriented building with actual pixels.
Okay, we are over time, and my dog is whining at me like crazy. I think she needs to go out. So I think we need to wrap it up here. But this was really fun. I think maybe we should do some more soccer tournaments super randomly during AMAs. This was actually, we need to figure out what we're going to do next week because Luke is gone next week. And so it's just me. So we got to see, I'm going to think about like maybe some fun stuff we can do and just like hang out, have a good time. Maybe bring some, like, I know I usually bring up like a guest, could do that, or we play a game. I don't know. Can you hear her whining? It's actually crazy. I'm going to go take my dog out, but thank you guys for hanging out and doing this fun tournament with us. There are more games. There are more games tomorrow. We have round 2 happening tomorrow. And then Friday will be the final games along with an energy party and award ceremony to celebrate, which will be really cool. And then next week, guys, there should be 2 energy parties happening, I think on Tuesday and Friday. You'll see in the Monday announcement, subscribe to Pixels Post. But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff happening right now. So thank you guys for coming out today. We'll see you at the games tomorrow and Friday and next week's AMA.
All right,
bye, guys.
Thanks.